Johanna, your speech captured my attention so completely because of the subject matter that, beginning with the title, Where Love Resides, which is very intriguing. The idea that love lives somewhere. It takes up its home, takes up its residence somewhere. Then you led on to that explaining that love ethic, I believe, yes, and then how it takes place and experience in relationships, and most of all in our relationship to the world, both relationships, acquaintances, and ultimately to the world. And I could see how it tied into your career as healthcare, providing healthcare, managing people, providing healthcare, such things. I know there's a lot more to it than that, but this is just giving a little recap of the, some of the issues, some of the substance of your speech, some of the issues that you were addressing. Now, one phrase in particular stuck in my mind because it's something that I don't really understand very clearly. I don't actually, I've got to say, I don't think I understand it at all. And that's where I thought you could give me some clarification. Now, it is something that people say a lot, but what does it actually mean? The phrase is honest and open communication. You said that was a prerequisite for having loving relationships. Could you elucidate that for me, please?
Yes, thank you, Laurel. Thank you for your interest. And what I learned from Bell Hook's book, The Love Ethic, oh, it actually has a different title, but her concept of love ethic is that we need to define love. It differentiates what's not loving. And I didn't mention in my speech that she's an advocate um, for equality. And so when we looked at the theme of the meeting, humanitarian, that's when I wanted to broaden it to the world. And her book really helped me. Because if the world has a common ethic for loving, then we could eliminate some of the old model of power and control, abuse, prejudice, racism. So that was very exciting to me. She wrote this book in 2000, and Helen told me that it was used in the university, so I feel I can study deeper what she's meaning. So what I learned was she had this model, this concept of ethic of love, and there were, she called them ingredients. So the romantic love and the affection, and that is part of it. And when I described my personal situation of wondering what went wrong in my marriage, because there was what I thought love and attention, the open and honest communication, which was one of the other ingredients, somehow got shut down in our marriage because there was judgment, there was distrust, and there was an unwillingness to actually hear the other person. So this is common. This is what is part of that old model. The unwillingness to see people as who they are. And as she mentioned, her definition was to nurture the growth of other people. So you extend yourself for the growth of another person or a group of people of the world. You extend your willingness. And that requires a listening, which was one of the components, but also honesty. So that's a lot of self-reflection, I believe, because we're socialized so much, and especially in that old model that says, look after yourself, don't trust people, be careful. And then there's the gender differences, like, oh, that's a female trait, that's a male trait. So of course you're not going to manage to communicate. Love in relationships with ourselves, very important, and the world require that we be honest and learn how to communicate what we're really thinking and feeling. Our actions are also very loving. So one of the other ingredients is being of service, being reliable, being committed. However, if our behavior doesn't really show that we are, then I think it's time to ask yourself, do you honestly want to get involved, or are you really as open as you appear? Are you just playing along? She had a really good section on uh, sometimes men will marry because they just want to be looked after. And they are. They have a great system where the wife might take care of all the emotional needs of the family, for example. But a woman can also pick a partner that she knows that she can get her ways in the world too. So it goes both ways. And really robbing each other of your full growth in love. I was excited about reading the book because we're all doing the best we can, and we've had a lot of media and social training. But what if we look at that list and say, well, yeah, that's there, but oops, that's not there. I think it does start with self-reflection and a lot of study. Like, this is why we all are very interested in beliefs and cultural expectations and creating something new. Because we're thinking, feeling people, and we're all different. And if we feel trapped in a system that we don't, or a family, or a relationship that we can't express our true nature, that's limiting. So let's open up.
I think I understand what you're trying to say a little more in a way that would apply to my relationships, my relationship with my husband and my children, my friends here in Encompass and Toastmasters. In the meetings that I go to, that understanding more the sort of person that I am and what I'm comfortable with, and when I feel that I'm doing things because of other people's expectations. Is that part of what you're saying?
The first thing is that you're aware and you feel. This is so important. So if in a situation you feel in any way diminished or inhibited, then it is a wise question to say, am I doing this for my own self, or am I doing it because I'm committed to something and I understand what's expected of me? And I committed, so even though there's tough times, I will see it through. That's what I believe is the word willing and the word commitment. And that is one of the ingredients of this love method.
So what if you just hypothetically, or maybe not so hypothetically, you've committed to a situation and you're really quite uncomfortable in the situation quite a lot of the time? What would be the loving way to deal with this?
I had to really look at that after my marriage breakdown. And I took the course, Landmark. And what was really freeing was knowing that a lot of people do not like to commit because they're afraid to let people down, or they're afraid that they can't fulfill the commitment. It is not, they told me. So this is all the research, eclectic, right? I'm putting it together. It's not a moral issue.
Mm.
It's, consider it like a team. I love the team concept because you commit to play, and if for some reason you know you can't, your commitment is still to let the team leader know, and ideally replace yourself. So that's, I think, answers your question. It's honesty. Like, when you know that you can't continue, you have to communicate to let the other person know, because a lot of us, what we do is we drag our feet and we don't do the things we say we're going to do. We have all our different styles. We get procrastinating, we create something, and life becomes kind of a drama. But it's clean and it's loving to just say, I'm not going to be able to make that deadline.
Wow. Wow. Rather than like, oh, I've got to do this because what will people think of me, and I've lost my credibility,
Yeah.
and I like, oh, and then the anger builds up, and then
Yeah.
it'll shoot sideways. It'll squirt
Exactly.
out in the wrong
Exactly.
bad
And
situation
so
because you're
here's,
feeling really pressured,
of course,
right? You don't know how to be, because you don't want to disappoint people. And plus, you're
exactly.
feeling really angry that maybe you got railroaded into something that you
Yes.
didn't really know what you were getting into, and
Yes.
just piles on top, and then
I know.
and just
And
goes,
it's common. This is
yeah,
a
yeah,
human thing. That's why people don't commit. They really hate that feeling. And, it's hard because sometimes what you're into is a growth. Like there's something on the other side. If
right,
you just persevere.
right,
And if you reach out and ask, at least tell someone you're struggling, then you might get the help that you need. So it's very courageous because a lot of times we leave things to the last minute because we think, I should know, I could, oh, and then you've left the team leader high and dry. Isn't it better that they know 2 weeks ahead so they can help you? And that's their job.
So this is what part of what you're calling open and honest
Yes.
communication. This has really clarified a lot for me. Thank you, Johanna. I'm going to duck out now
Yes.
if you want
Thank
to
you
get.
for the question. That was awesome.
Great.